Shalom family. The information in this video, I feel, is extremely significant in helping to keenly identify the prophetic times in which we are living and to illustrate just how close the world is to the tribulation period. Because of this, I thought it was important to make this video available to everyone. I pray that this information will help to edify all who view it, and I pray that it will lead many to repent of their sins and to accept salvation through Yahushua HaMashiach, the Messiah, before it's too late. As always, we appreciate any donations to help support this work. You'll find a link in the description box. So with that said, I pray this video is a blessing to you all. So let's get into it. Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light, and what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father? But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear ye not, therefore, ye are of more value than many sparrows. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven.
Ask yourselves, what is wrong with spending eternity
Matthew
in hell?
10:26 through 33. On May 28, 2024, an explosion occurred at the Chase Bank in Youngstown, Ohio. The blast happened around 2:45 p.m. Tuesday, collapsing part of the ground floor of the 12-story Realty Tower into its basement and sending the facade across the street. A 27-year-old bank employee was killed in the blast and 7 others were wounded.
Officials now believe everyone is accounted for after an explosion in Youngstown, Ohio. It damaged a building with a bank on the ground floor and apartments above, injuring multiple people. Police tell our affiliate, WKBN, they recovered the body of a 27-year-old bank employee. Roxana Saberi has more.
Smoke billowed from this building housing Chase Bank moments after a powerful explosion shook downtown Youngstown around 2:45 p.m. Tuesday.
When we take a deeper look at this event, it becomes obvious that this was another satanic ritual meant to exalt the devil and his antichrist. So without further ado, let's get into it. The date this explosion destroyed the bank was May 28th, or 5/28. Strong's Concordance lists H528 as Amun, which is the name of the horned ram and supreme god of the Egyptians. His name means the hidden one, and he was equated with the Roman Jupiter and the Greek Zeus as the god of the sky and thunder, whose symbol was the lightning bolt, or Barak. This points to the phrase Barack Obama as found in Luke 10:18, when Messiah described Satan's fall as lightning from heaven. In Norse mythology, Amun was equated with Thor, the god of lightning. In Hinduism, he was Indra, and to the Canaanites, he was the horned god Baal, or Satan. Notice in this camera view of the explosion at the Chase Bank from the building across the street that the address reads 44 Huntington. Clearly, finding the number 44 across the street from the explosion or bomb is a reference to number 44, Obama. This is confirmed by the fact that this explosion occurred in Ohio, which uses the letter O as its symbol. Remember, Obama was called President Zero or O.
Despite all the naysayers who are predicting failure, our economy is growing again. No more manufactured crises, no more games. We are headed in the right direction. I love these folks who say, well, this is Obama's economy. That's fine. Give it to me.
Zero jobs. Not a single job.
No jobs created. Zero. People are demoralized. What has happened? Zero new jobs.
Change has come to America.
Further, the name Ohio hides a phrase used in praise of Obama as the Most High when pronounced as O, High, O. The name Huntington means the hunter's territory, property, land, domain, or kingdom. Moreover, the explosion destroyed the Chase Bank in the Realty building. The word chase means to hunt and points to the act of one who chases or pursues another. The word realty means real estate, a piece of real property or land, the property that goes to the heirs of the deceased. Keep this in mind because we'll come back to it later. It is important to note that a hunter is both a person or an animal that pursues and kills its prey. The mention of the hunter is a reference to Nimrod, the king of Babylon, who built the Tower of Babel, since he was called a mighty hunter in Genesis 10:8-9, which declares, "And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter, before the Lord." The word mighty man in this verse is Strong's H 1368, Gabor, which means a giant, a man of power, and a champion. Notice in this news report about the explosion that the building also sits on Champion Street, another reference to Nimrod, the mighty hunter.
A powerful explosion leveling the first floor of the Realty building in downtown Youngstown Tuesday afternoon.
Nimrod was the king of Babylon who built the Tower of Babel in Genesis 11:1-9, which culminates in the destruction of the tower when Yah confused the languages in verse 9, which declares, "Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth." We know that Obama connected himself with Nimrod by his association with the rebuilding of the One World Freedom Tower in place of the Twin Towers that were destroyed on 9/11 as a reversal of Genesis 11:9. This was confirmed in his signing of the beam that went into the top of the One World Tower, which read, "We remember, we rebuild, we come back stronger." Also notice that the beam was placed on the east side of the building as a reference to the rising sun, which is Obama's logo.
It's actually part of the main superstructure. It's approximately 35 feet long. It's 11,000 pounds, and it's placed in a very strategic location along the east side of the building.
Not only that, but the sun symbolism can also be found in the logo for Chase Bank, which is actually a stylized swastika, the ancient occult symbol for the sun. This becomes obvious when the images are combined. That being said, let's bring our focus back to Obama's association with Nimrod, the king of Babylon, the Nephilim giant, mighty hunter, and beast who will chase and pursue his prey. The explosion at Chase in Youngstown killed one person, a 27-year-old named Akil Drake, who went to Penn Hills High School, and it injured 7 others. The name Youngstown means the youth and children's estate. The name Akil means intelligent or wise, and the name Drake means dragon, which points to the wise serpent, who is the devil, as found in Revelation 20, verse 2, which declares, "And he laid hold unto the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years." Further, Matthew 10:16 instructs followers of Mashiach in this manner when it declares, "Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents, and harmless as doves." Moreover, Drake was from Pittsburgh, which is a reference to the bottomless pit of hell. This is confirmed in the fact that his body was found in the basement, or the 13th floor, and 13 is the number of rebellion, as a reference to the rebellious fallen angel who was cast into the pit of hell.
The state fire marshal's office continuing to investigate the cause of the explosion inside Chase Bank Tuesday afternoon that killed 27-year-old Akil Drake. Fire Chief Barry Finley said Drake was found in the basement.
The Realty Building in Youngstown is listed as a 12-story building that was built in 1924. Remember, realty means real estate, a piece of real property or land, as a reference to property that belongs to heirs of the deceased. This is a reference to the 12 tribes of the children of Israel in the land of Israel itself, which belongs to the descendants, heirs, or children of Israel. This is confirmed by the fact that Strong's Concordance lists G 1924 as epigrapho, which means to write upon or inscribe, and is a reference to the children of Israel as found in Hebrews 8:10, which declares, "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people." Reports state that 1 person was killed and 7 injured in the explosion, which gives us the number 17. And it just so happens that the state of Ohio was admitted into the Union as the 17th state in 1803. Strong's Concordance lists G 1803 as hex, which is the number 6 and points to the 6th god, Saturn or Satan. Further, a hex means to cast a magic spell on someone or to bewitch them. Now get this, the use of the numbers 12 and 17 in conjunction with the 12-story realty building in Youngstown which is a reference to the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, along with the notion of the wise dragon from the bottomless pit and king of Babylon or Nimrod chasing, hunting, and pursuing his prey, points us to Revelation 12:17, which declares, "And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach." But that's not all. Ohio means great river, and this points us to the river of water that the dragon spews out of his mouth in pursuit of the woman who represents Israel, as found in Revelation 12:15 through 16, which declares, "And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood, which the dragon cast out of his mouth." This blast occurred on Federal Street, and federal means a league or covenant. This points to the covenant that will be made with the children of Israel by the Antichrist, which he will break after 3.5 years.
We believe the borders of Israel and Palestine should be based on the 1967 lines with mutually agreed swaps. And all of this is taking place against the backdrop of decades of failure to achieve a durable peace for both Israelis and Palestinians. One that is based on genuine security for Israel, a recognition of its right to exist, and a peace that is based on an end of the occupation and the creation of a viable state and self-determination for the Palestinian people.
As found in Daniel 9:27, which declares, "And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate." Daniel 11:23 further declares, "And after the league made with him, he shall work deceitfully, for he shall come up and shall become strong with a small people." The number 17 has other significance as well. Strong's H17 is avoy, which means a desire for sorrow and woe, misery and grief, to be inclined towards and to willingly desire, consent, and wish for misery, grief, and woe. This lets us know that the one who desires to bring about the tribulation period, the time of sorrow, misery, and grief on earth, is close to accomplishing his goal. I must also mention that a Chase employee who survived the explosion was identified as Caroline Pizarro. Notice the sunflowers, which represent the sun god, and point to Obama, whose logo is the rising sun. Not only that, but the goal for her GoFundMe page is $76,000. 7 plus 6 is 13, the number of rebellion, which points to the rebellious fallen angel. Remember, Obama connected himself with the number 76 as well.
Tonight, I want to talk as plainly as I can about the stakes in this election. Because what we do these next 76 days will echo through generations to come. I'm in Philadelphia.
The name Caroline comes from Carl, which comes from Charles, and means free man. The name Pizarro means slate or quarry, which is a large, deep pit. This connects her with the setting free or releasing of the king of the bottomless pit.
Right now, freedom. Are you in need of freedom?
Among the injuries Caroline suffered were lacerations to her forehead, a broken nose, black eye, and severe damage to her leg. Notice how her injury to her forehead and black eye serve as a reference to the deadly head wound in one eye, symbolism. The explosion occurred at 2:45, and 2 + 4 + 5 is 11. Strong's Concordance lists H11 as Abaddon, which is the place of destruction and ruin. It is also the name of the king of the bottomless pit. When reversed, 5 + 4 is 9, and the number 2 can be expressed as 1 + 1, giving us 9/11, as a reference to Revelation 9/11 and the rise of the king of the pit. We know that Obama connected himself with the king of the pit, Abaddon or Apollyon, on 9/11 when he declared himself to be God at Ground Zero, the place of the destruction of the Twin Towers.
Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
This is the man who will be indwelt by the king of the bottomless pit. He is the reincarnation of Nimrod, who will rebuild the one world tower, the beast who will hunt the children of Israel and cause misery, sorrow, and great tribulation to engulf the world. This is the hidden one, revealed. Before I go, there's one more thing that I need to show you. Earlier, we discussed the fact that the 12-story realty building represents the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, and the one person who perished, Akil Drake, represents the dragon, Satan. When taken together with the 7 others who were injured, I told you that this represented Revelation 12:17. Not only is this true, but this event also represents Revelation 12:1-7, and I can prove it. Check this out. Here is a picture from inside the realty building in Ohio just before the blast. In this picture, you will notice a woman holding a child who is about to walk out of the exit door to escape out of the building before the explosion occurred. Now, here is the video of the explosion which occurred after she left. This woman, who appears to be of so-called African American descent, represents Israel, the woman with child, who has 12 stars upon her head, as found in Revelation 12:1, which declares, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered." I already told you that the 12-story realty building represents the 12 tribes of Israel, and since she is on the ground floor, this means she has 12 stars or stories above her head. Earlier, I told you that the one man who died, Akil Drake, and the 7 injured gives us the number 17. It is important to note that Akil Drake went to Penn Hills High School, which uses the color red, and therefore proves that he represents the great red dragon. The number 17 forms the 7 heads and 10 horns of the dragon, as found in verse 3, which declares, "And there appeared another wonder in heaven, And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads.
I just keep thinking about this girl's baby that made it out, just like seconds.
The child that the woman is carrying represents the man-child who the dragon desires to devour, but who will be caught up to God and unto his throne, as found in verses 4 through 5, which declares, "And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne." This is the reason they are next to the elevators. The word elevator comes from the word elevate, which means to raise or lift something up to a higher position. The man-child who is caught up to heaven in the red dragon, or Satan, who waits to devour the child, then pursues or chases the woman, but to no avail, as she escapes into the wilderness. From there, Michael and his angels fight against the devil and his angels, as found in verse 6 and 7, which declare, "And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels." Clearly, the woman in this picture represents Israel, the woman with child. The crown of 12 stars above her head are represented by the 12 stories of the building above her head, which are symbolic of the 12 tribes of Israel. The man who perished represents the dragon waiting to devour the child, and the child she is carrying escapes and is caught up to God in heaven, which is why they are next to the elevators. The woman then flees into the wilderness because she is given an escape route by God, which is why she was allowed to escape through this exit door. Praise Yah. We have just witnessed this scripture symbolically played out in front of us. Those who have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart to understand will see, hear, and understand what they have just witnessed. The end is near. So I must ask you, are you prepared for what's next? If you have not given your life to the Most High by accepting the blood sacrifice of the Paschal Lamb, Yahushua HaMashiach, which was shed on the cross as a propitiation for the redemption of sins, the time to do so is now. Amen. Shalom.